They will pay for the lies. And I need you to sit with that sentence for a second, because it's not headline, it's a report. Something shifted. That circle of people who's been running their mouths about you, whispering in group chats, laughing behind closed doors, twisting little pieces of your life into something ugly. They just got humbled, not metaphorically, not someday, somehow, somebody will balance it out. I'm talking right now in real time while you are sitting here listening to this. The ground moved under them and they didn't even see it coming. Imagine a person throwing a jagged rock into the wind, thinking it's going to hit you. But the wind is actually a curved wall. They throw the rock with all their strength, the lies, the gossip, the malice. And for a second, it's out of their hands. They think they won. They think they are finally getting away with it. They think nobody's watching. But then it rounds the corner and comes flying back at twice the speed, hitting them exactly where they tried to hit you. This isn't just luck. This isn't coincidence. This is the boomerang of whispers, and it's already in motion. Now listen close, because this message isn't for everybody scrolling past. Some of you are gonna hear this and go, okay, cute video, and keep it moving. That's fine. That's not you. But if something in your chest just tightened up a little, if a name popped into your head the second I said gossip, if you felt that for hot flash of wait, is this about them? Then yeah, that's one for you. Sit tight. Don't skip ahead. I know you felt that heavy energy lately, like someone was trying to dim your light behind your back. You have felt it in your gut. You have felt it in the way conversations pass when you walk into a room. You felt it in the way certain people look at you, not with warmth, but with calculation. You're not imagining it. You never were. Here is what's been happening. That group, and you know exactly what I mean. You don't need me to spell it out. They have been brought down low. Their resources, their footing, the little kingdom they built, talking about you behind your back. It's crumbling. Some of them have lost close to everything. Money, relationships, standing, the respect they thought they had locked in, gone. And they went up against the wrong person to do this to. Because you're not the villain in this story. You mind your own business. You send good energy out into the world. You are the one trying to grow, trying to build something, trying to lift everyone around you up while you are at it. You didn't ask for war. You didn't send negativity toward a single soul. And still, they came for your name. They thought their little secret meetings were private. But the universe, our beautiful universe, has a way of keeping receipts. Every conversation, every text, every whispered comment meant to tear you down. It's all accounted for. And the bill is coming due. They thought it was a game. They thought talking about you was harmless, something to pass a boring afternoon, something to feel important about. Some of these people, if we are honest, didn't have much else going on. No real contribution to make to the people around them. Nothing they were building, nothing they were proud of, just gossip. Cheap gossip. That was the whole resume. They styled themselves as the ones who always knew what was really going on. Their unofficial newsroom of the group chat. Breaking news nobody asked for. Except, here is the thing. They never actually knew anything. They took a half-truth, maybe a rumor with 3% fact in it, and instead of checking it, instead of asking you directly, they just lit it on fire and threw it into the wind and watched it spread. They didn't care whose name got scratched on the way down. They didn't care what it cost you to sit there knowing people were talking, twisting, laughing at a version of you that was never even real. All they wanted was to be the one who knew first. And now they have been humbled, brought to their knees, and it's not coming back to the way it was. While they were busy digging a pit for you, they forgot one thing. They are the ones who ended up falling into it. That's the thing about digging holes for other people. You are so focused on the dirt flying out that you don't notice the ground beneath you is getting weaker, and eventually you are standing on nothing. That's how it works. Okay. Deep breath. Because I know that stings to hear, even the good part of it, even the part where you are the one who comes out clean. There is nothing that cuts quite like finding out someone's been talking behind your back. It's quite kind of betrayal. It doesn't announce itself. It hides in fake smiles, in the way someone gets a little too quiet when you walk into a room, in sideways glances you catch out on the corner of your eye, and you try to convince yourself you imagined. And here is the part that really gets you. It's almost never strangers. Yeah. It's the people close to you. Friends, bestie, co-workers, sometimes even family. People who had a front row seat to you, to your life, and used that in access to twist the story instead of protecting it. That sting is real. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it's not. You're not to feel it. The urge to defend yourself, to fire back, to march over there and set the record straight, word to word, forward. That's human. Anybody would feel that. But here's what I want you to actually take with you today. Past the satisfaction of hearing they are being humbled, I want you to walk away from this video with a different kind of power. The kind that doesn't need anybody else to lose in order for you to win. The truth doesn't need to scream to be heard. It just needs to wait. And it's been waiting quietly, patiently, while they talked and twisted and fabricated. The truth just sat there, gathering weight, knowing its time was coming. You see, gossip is background noise. That's all it ever was. It's a test of your self-control, of your ego, of whether you're gonna let somebody else's small behavior dictate your entire emotional state for the next 6 months. And reacting hands them the exact thing they wanted. It proves it landed. It proves it got under your skin. What actually shuts it down isn't revenge. It's restraint. Not the weak kind of silence where you're just swallowing it and pretending it's fine. The strong kind, the kind that comes from knowing exactly who you are and refusing to let somebody else's noise rewrite it. You have been humbled by life, but they are about to be humbled by their own lies. There is a big difference between the two. You were humbled because you had the courage to grow, to learn, to evolve. They are being humbled because their lies built a house of cards and the wind finally came. That's not the same thing at all. Let me tell you about not chasing every rumor, because this is one of the hardest lessons anybody learns. There is a specific kind of gut punch that happens when you hear your name behind being dragged through a room you never even stepped into. Somebody tells you what somebody else said, half true, half completely made up. And every cell in your body screams, "Go, clear this up right now." It feels like the only reasonable move. But chasing every rumor is a trap dressed up as justice. It pulls you into a game you never agreed to play. And here is the cruel part. You cannot actually win it. No. The more you scramble to correct the story, the more it looks like it bothers you. And the more it bothers you, the more fuel you are handing the very people who started it in the first place. Real discipline says, stay above it. Not because you are weak, because you are strong enough not to need the last word. When someone talks about you behind your back, what they are really doing is fishing for a reaction. They want to see you flinch. The second you don't give it to them, they lose the only thing they were actually after: control over how you feel. It's funny how people who have the most to say about your life usually have the least going on in theirs. Think about it. Truly successful people, the ones building, growing, creating, contributing, they don't have time to sit around dissecting your life. They're too busy living their own. The people with empty calendars and empty lives, they have all the time in the world to talk about yours. That's not a reflection on you. That's a reflection on them. Picture this. You walk into work or you walk into a family gathering and something's off. People are a little colder. Somebody stops mid-sentence when you get close. You find out later that a rumor's been going around. You are difficult. You are not who people thought you were. Pick your poison. Every instinct says confront it head on. Demand names, demand receipts. Argue your case to anyone who will listen. But ask yourself honestly, what does it actually get you? Even in the best case scenario. Maybe you win an argument. Maybe you don't. Either way, you burned your energy, your peace, your whole day on people who are not worth the transaction. The stronger move, the quiet one, the one that actually works, is to let your life keep speaking, keep showing up well, keep treating people with respect, especially the ones who don't deserve it. Yeah, that's a paradox. Because that's not for them, that's for you. Over time, truth has this way of rising to the surface all on its own. And lies just die in the silence. Nobody fed them. This isn't about revenge, it's about the law of reflection. What you put out, you get back. It's not punishment, it's physics. Their energy was always going to boomerang. It was never about you. It was about the inevitable collision between their words and the reality they couldn't outrun. Now, here is a piece people skip over because it's not flashy and it doesn't come with a satisfying comeback. Sometimes there is a sliver of truth buried inside even the ugliest gossip. And the real strength is being honest enough with yourself to go looking for it, not to excuse what was said, not to blame yourself for someone else's cruelty, but because occasionally, underneath all of the exaggeration and malice, there is a tiny single worth paying attention to. Say word gets back to you that people think you're arrogant. First reaction, offense, obviously. Because you know you have worked hard, you know you've earned what you have. But if you actually sit with it, quietly, privately, you might remember a moment you talked about talked over someone in a meeting or brushed off an idea without really hearing it out. Doesn't mean the whole accusation is fair. It might mean there is a 2% grain of something real in there, and that 2% is yours to work with. They tried to bury you, but they didn't realize you were a seed. And seeds don't die in the dark. They grow. They push through. They break concrete if they have to. The very thing meant to destroy you became the soil you needed. There is someone I want you to picture. We will call this person the manager, mid-level, sharp, direct, always got the job done. Word started getting back that the team found this person hard to approach. First instinct, brush it off. Office politics. People are just soft these days. But the frequency of it kept nagging, so instead of confronting the team or getting defensive, this person quietly reviewed the last few conversations, remembered checking a phone mid-meeting, remembered snapping at someone over a late report, and it clicked. Not cruelty, just overwhelm. And a blind spot nobody had pointed out directly until the gossip forced the mirror up. That realization didn't feel good, but it changed everything that came after. That's the difference between being destroyed by gossip and being sharpened by it. And once you've done that honest, uncomfortable self-check, once you've put whatever small lesson was hiding in the noise, you've got to let the rest of it go, because you cannot control what people say about you. You cannot control who talks, what they twist, how it spreads. The only thing that ever actually yours to control is your own mind, your own choices, your own next move. Everything else is just weather. The second you stop trying to manage everybody else's opinion of you, you start pouring that same energy into your own integrity. Everything shifts. Everything. You stop asking, how do I make them stop talking? And start asking, how do I keep living like the person I actually am, regardless of what they say? That's where the real power lives. If you're watching this, consider the judgment day for that group official started right now, in this moment. While you're sitting here, the wheels are already turning. The consequences are already in motion. You don't have to do a thing except watch it unfold. Say rumors start swirling that you took credit for somebody else's work. And you know for a fact it's false. The instinct is to call a meeting, send an email, defend yourself in front of everybody. But the more fires you run around putting out, the more it looks like you're the one burning. Refocus instead on what's actually yours. Keep doing the well work. Keep supporting the people around you. Keep being consistent. Not because you are passive, because you are strategic. You are investing in the one thing gossip can never touch: your actual conduct. Over time, that becomes something no rumor can shake. Credibility. Yeah, credibility. And here is the deeper truth buried in all of this. Once you are really grounded in your own values, gossip stops having power over you at all. You are too busy building something real to sit around listening to people speculate about it. Your silence during their storm was your greatest weapon. While they were shouting and spinning and scheming, you were quiet. Not because you had nothing to say. No, because you knew you didn't need to say anything. Your silence wasn't weakness, it was strategy. It was dignity. It was the loudest thing in the room. But I will be honest with you about something else too, because I'm not here to sell you a fantasy. Even if you do everything right, even if you're honest, careful, kind, consistent, some people are still going to get you wrong. They are going to twist your words, assume the worst about your motives, project their own issues onto you like you are a screen. And the more you grow, the more you set boundaries, the more you stop going easy to push around, the more that gets rebranded as difficult or cold or different. That's the gut punch nobody warns you about. You can be doing everything right and still get cast as the villain in somebody else's version of the story. The way through that isn't chasing clarity from people who are committed to misunderstanding you. That's a battle you were never actually required to fight. Your peace was never supposed to depend on being understood by everyone. It was only ever supposed to depend on you knowing in your own chest, right here, that your conscience is clear. Not everyone is going to see your heart. Not everyone was ever meant to. The mask is sleeping and everyone is starting to see the group for who they truly are. You don't have to expose them. You don't have to tell anyone. The mask already sleeps eventually. Always, actually. And when it does, people see what you saw all along, and they wonder how they didn't notice sooner. And that brings us to the part that actually settles all of it. Time, precious time, and character. Because gossip is temporary, but who you actually are is permanent. Lies can echo for a while, sure. They can be loud for a season, but they don't have staying power once they are stacked up against real lived evidence of your character. People can fake charm for a night. They can fake competence for a meeting, but nobody can fake consistency over years. And consistency is exactly what destroys rumors. Always. Not rage, not a perfect comeback, not a viral clapback video. Just showing up day after day as exactly who you are, who you say you are. You don't have to lift a finger. Their own bitterness is doing the work for you. That's the beautiful part. You get to rest. You get to keep building. You get to keep growing. Meanwhile, their own poison is working through the system, their system. And it's doing exactly what poison does. Think about someone who takes over a team that's falling apart and over months turns it around through structure and honestly, and just showing up. Early on, the resistance is brutal. People don't like the direct style. Whispers start that this person is power hungry, too hard to work with. It sticks for a while, but instead of changing to win people over, this person just stays steady, keeps giving credit where it's due, owns every mistake out loud instead of hiding it, and slowly, not dramatically, slowly, performance improves, trust deepens, and the truth catches up to reality. Not because anyone defended themselves, because they proved it one ordinary day at a time. The gossip fades. The reputation doesn't just recover. It comes back stronger than it started. That's the move. You don't respond to lies with more words. You respond with behavior. The people who actually matter in your life will pay attention to the evidence, not the rumor. And the people who never bothered to actually know you in the first place, they were never your audience, never your people. Let them go. You don't owe them a single explanation. They mistook your kindness for a weakness, and that was their biggest mistake. They saw your grace and thought it meant you would fight back or wouldn't fight back. They saw your patience and thought it meant you wouldn't protect yourself. They saw your quiet and thought it meant you didn't see, but you saw everything. And so did the universe. So, if you're in the middle of this right now, being talked about, misjudged, dragged into a version of a story you never wrote, hold the line. Keep showing up, keep doing the work quietly without performing it for anyone. Don't explain. Just live in a way that builds something no rumor can touch. People forget what they heard about you. They don't forget how you made them feel when you stayed calm and steady while everything around you was noise. Watch how the doors they tried to close for you start slamming in their own faces. It's already happening. The very opportunities they tried to block you from, those doors are opening, and they are closing on the people who tried to lock them. That's not coincidence. That's consequence. That's the boomerang coming home. And to that group who's been humbled, brought low, stripped of everything they thought their little humor meal could buy them. This is Judgment Day. And it's not coming from me. And it's not coming from you. It's coming from the simple, quite undeniable math of consequences. What goes out eventually comes home. They will pay for the lies in their own time, in their own way. And you don't have to lift a finger to make it happen. You just have to keep being exactly who you already are. You are entering a season of vindication, while they're entering a season of consequences. 2 seasons, same calendar, different weather. While you are stepping into clarity, recognition, peace, and expansion, they are stepping into the harvest of everything they planted. And harvest doesn't lie. Here is what I want you to take with you when you leave this video. Not just the satisfaction of knowing they are being humbled, because that satisfaction fades. I want you to take the certainty that you were always on the right side of this. Not because you were perfect, not because you never made a mistake, but because your intention was never to harm. Your intention was to grow, to give, to be real. And that intention has weight. It has momentum. It has protection built into that nobody else's words can touch. So if this hits something in you, if you have got your own story about being talked about, judged, dragged into drama you never asked to be part of, drop it in the comments. I read every single one. Share, and share it with me. I really want to listen to your story.